Are you stuck choosing between the CFP, CPA, and CFA? If you are, you're not alone. Every year, thousands of aspiring finance professionals waste months studying for the wrong certification, only to find themselves in a career that doesn't match their lifestyle goals or income expectations. In this video, we're going to skip the usual exam difficulty rankings and focus on what matters: who you serve, how you spend your days, and what your life will actually look like with each of these paths. By the end, you should have clarity on which of these careers best fits your personal definition of success. Let's start with who you'll actually be working with, because this is one of the biggest differences between these three paths. As a CFP, you're helping individuals and families. Now, financial planners can also technically work with businesses and nonprofits, but in reality, the bulk of your clients are going to be individuals looking for comprehensive financial guidance, whether they're young professionals starting to build wealth or retirees managing their nest egg. You'll typically have about 100 to 200 client households that you work with long-term, often meeting with them several times a year. Think of it as being like a family's financial coach. Now, CPAs, their clients are mostly businesses. Yes, there are accountants who work primarily with individuals during tax season, but most CPAs serve corporations, from local restaurants to Fortune 500s. Accountants focus on providing accurate and timely financial information and ensuring that regulations and guidelines such as GAAP are adhered to. Now, the CFA path is very different. Your clients will be institutions, think pension funds, investment firms, maybe even ultra high net worth individuals. Your client actually might be an investment committee, and you're often several steps removed from the end investor. You're more focused on managing large portfolios or conducting deep market research rather than having personal finance conversations. Now, here's why all this matters. The type of client you serve shapes everything else: your schedule, your income potential, and honestly, whether you'll enjoy the work. So let's talk about what that day-to-day work looks like. As a CFP, you're a personal finance coach. You create and implement comprehensive plans covering everything from investments, college and retirement savings, to estate planning. It's really about the breadth of your knowledge and translating complex concepts for clients who generally are financial experts themselves. Now, CPAs are more a tax and accounting specialists. While they handle everything from bookkeeping to audits, their core value is navigating complex regulations and ensuring compliance. It's detail-oriented work where precision really matters. CFAs focus purely on investments. Their day-to-day revolves around market analysis, portfolio management, and building financial models. And unlike CFPs who work with individuals, CFAs, again, are typically managing institutional level investments. So they're using extremely complicated financial models. Now, these different responsibilities create a different, distinct work pattern. The CFPs have the most flexibility. Generally, your work is pretty evenly spread out throughout the year and spread out through the week. Yes, you may need to do some evening and weekends for client meetings. And yes, things get a little busier around the end of the year as you touch base with your clients through annual reviews. CPAs, on the other hand, have intense spikes of work around tax season and as they close the books at the end of a month, end of a quarter, or end of a year. CFAs, they often have more investment banking style hours. The workload follows the financial markets with some small lulls in the summer and the holiday seasons. However, there's high pressure when markets take a turn. Now, you're probably already seeing how these three paths, while all in finance, lead to very different lives. And this translates into the potential employers and the chances you have of becoming your own boss. CFPs are roughly split between large firms and operating on their own. Large banks like Merrill Lynch Bank of America, brokerage firms like Fidelity, and advisory firms like Edward Jones each hire thousands of CFPs. And even if you start out at a larger firm, 40% of CFPs strike out on their own. CPAs have the most diverse employment options. About 30% of them eventually run their own practices. Many of those start at larger firms for training and experience, and they either make partner or they branch out on their own. You may have heard about the big four accounting firms: Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG. There are also regional accounting firms, accounting departments inside of large companies, and government agencies who all employ hundreds of thousands of CPAs. CFAs, on the other hand, typically work for large financial institutions. Now, you can technically run your own firm, but it's much, much less common. Say maybe like 10% do. The institutional focus of the work means that most CFAs stay within larger organizations like asset management firms, buy-side investment banks, and hedge funds. Now, before we go any further, I want to address a question that maybe some of you were thinking. I'm just learning about the CFP or the CFA. Is it too late for me if I'm in my 30s? And the answer is no. In fact, the CFP and CFA are what I would consider mid-career designations. According to boards of both professions, the average age of certification is in the mid-30s. Now, most CFPs I've spoken to, they didn't even learn about the profession until many years after school. Many come from finance-adjacent industries like life insurance or risk management, while others come from completely different fields like teaching and real estate. They learn about the CFP almost by accident. And that's why many large firms that hire CFPs have career-changing programs. Now, the CFA is a bit different. Most candidates are already working in investment banking or asset management when they begin the program. Their employers are typically sponsoring the certification after a couple of years of proven performance. This means you're rarely going to see someone pursue the CFA without relevant industry experience. It's more of an advancement tool than an entry point. And not to leave CPAs out, but I think we can agree that most people have heard about the accounting profession by the time they enter college, and most colleges offer an accounting degree. So it's not surprising that according to the accounting board, 84% of new CPAs are under the age of 30. Now, if you've gotten this far in the video, you're probably finding it helpful. So do me a favor and hit the like button. This is a brand new channel, and every like and subscribe helps other people find this valuable information. All right, let's dive into the factor that everyone wants to know about: income. For financial planners, the path starts modestly but grows exponentially. Most begin at $40,000 to $70,000 in entry-level roles before they get certified. Once you earn your marks, there's a jump, boosting income to $85,000 to $100,000. After 5 years of building client relationships, planners typically reach $120,000 to $150,000. But the real acceleration happens around the 10-year mark, especially for those who launch their own practices. Many established CFPs earn $300,000 or more. The key income accelerators here are certification, building a client base, and launching your own independent practice. Accountants follow a more predictable progression. New accountants at Big Four or regional firms start at around $70,000 to $80,000. With about 3 to 5 years under their belt, senior accountants move up to $90,000 to $100,000. At the manager level, typically 5 to 8 years out, compensation is about $120,000 to $140,000. And partner track positions can reach $300,000 or more. CPAs can accelerate their earnings through industry specialization, moving into corporate roles, making partner, and starting their own practice. Now, the CFA path offers the highest potential, but demands the most. Entry-level positions start at $90,000 to $100,000 plus bonus. Mid-level professionals are earning $140,000 to $180,000 salary, and senior positions command $200,000 or more in salary, plus bonuses that range 1 to 3 times that amount. Now, these higher earnings, they are market dependent, and they require much longer working hours and competition. So they cover work style, client relationships, and compensation. You might be thinking, great, but what if I want to do something else later? That's exactly what we're going to cover next. These professional designations are often the jump-off points for other careers. Financial planners, for example, often evolve into starting their own independent practices, being executives at regional or national wealth management firms, and becoming niche market specialists, serving doctors, government employees, tech professionals, or other markets. CPAs can leverage their accounting expertise into C-suite roles such as controller and CFO, as well as M&A advisory work. And CFAs often advance towards hedge fund or private equity positions, chief investment officer roles, and leadership roles at independent research firms. Now, we've covered a lot today about these 3 paths. Hopefully, you've got a clear picture of which of these jobs looks best for you day to day and long term. If you're leaning towards the CFP path, check out this playlist where I share other key factors to consider before you commit to the 3-year $9,000 certification. I'll see you in the next video.